Greetings, gamers. Welcome to part 17 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 10, Radiant Dawn. And in today's episode, I have some finishing up to do. And that finishing up is particularly of the endgame of part 1 of this pretty interesting entry in the series. Very nice level up. I think that's his first he obtained, because the thing is with him is that he is not capable of, or well, he didn't get enough experience points to level up beforehand. We can just move everybody up. Yeah, he cannot climb ledges. Isn't that sad? Oh, I could have danced for him. Ah, man. Well, failures aside, I think I'm going to just end my turn here. Well, no, not necessarily. I can shove Micaiah. Get her a little bit closer. It's kind of funny that he would come down there just to attack Nyla. Like, yeah, you're taking damage back from Tormod, but you're not doing anything to Nyla. Pretty much guaranteed. Wow, that 1% crit. I don't like that. Alright. Beg Neon Soldier, goodbye. I'm pretty sure the only thing I'm going to be able to do here in order to take out Jared is I'm going to have to use some ranged attacks. Now, of course, I could always use the Black Knight or Nyla and just totally wipe the floor with him, but I kind of want the experience points for Tormod. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. Experience points for Tormod sounds like a great idea. Sounds much better than just giving it to somebody like the Black Knight who cannot use it. Vola could do some chip damage. He doesn't double. And 17... If Jared was to get a critical there, Vola would die even at max health. Yeah... 26 times 2. Alright.
Pardon, Sir Knight. I wanted to thank you. Thank you for fighting beside us.
No thanks are needed. I do nothing more than fulfill my duty.
When our fighting is done, will you remain in Dayan? Never mind. It's none of my business. It's only, if you were here with us, we could take heart in...
I may take my leave of Dayan.
Oh, but why?
More than this I cannot say. Forgive me. Very strange, to say the least. And I do not like that he has a bit of crit on Tormod. Do not like that at all. And of course, Gulger. Alright. That face. I remember you. The kid who's always with that little wench. Soth of the Dawn Brigade. The Dawn Brigade, huh? Oh, how I despise your ilk. The thought of draining the life from your body, it makes me tingle all over. Ditto. Yes. Doing a fair bit of damage, actually. So what I can do, since I have more than enough units to do rescue strat, just in case anything goes awry. Of course, I'm not going to attack with Micaiah this turn, because
She needs to seize. Man, I don't like that he has crit on this boss. Oh, I forgot that the Iron Dagger has crit on it. That's kind of funny. And going to Gulger for Soth. And that's another level up for Raphael. That's awesome. 2 in this chapter. As many as he can possibly get is good enough for me. If Soth would have gotten a crit here and KO'd Jared, it wouldn't be the end of the world because Soth needs the experience points as well, but definitely would have been better for Tormod.
So, you have the audacity to approach me at last. Don't expect an easy fight. Before I die, I will see each of you dead before me. I am sorry for nothing. I regret nothing, because I did it my way. You win, priestess. You must be delighted. Enjoy it while you can, because sooner or later you...
And a pretty fair amount of experience points for Tormod. And of course, I'm going to be seizing. We won. We've taken back our country. Dayan is under our control again.
Thank you, Micaiah. Thanks to you, the kingdom of Dayan lives again.
I didn't do it alone. We did it. Everyone fighting together.
Well, you didn't hurt the effort. I'd hazard a guess that Dayan's reconstruction would have only been a dream without you. I regret I have no other way to show you my gratitude, but I want to officially name you Supreme Commander of the armies of Dayan.
I see, and I accept. It is with great honor that I assume this office. This battle may be over, but the fight to return Dayan to its former glory will take time and effort. If my support can be of service, then I am honored to assist.
I'm glad. Well then, I'll perform the simple ceremony. Will you kneel? In the name of the King of Dayan, I dub thee Micaiah, Supreme Commander of Dayan, and grant thee the authority and responsibility pertaining thereto.
I can think of a handful of generals in Dayan's army who are way further suited to do and be this than some little girl off the streets, right?
But who am I?
And Micaiah's forced promotion comes through. She actually gets a lot of stats from this. Not a crazy amount, but it's better than most other first promotions, seeing that she actually gets a reasonable amount of strength and defense. It feels odd.
You wear it well. Won't you join me as I champion Dayan to a great new era? I'm counting on you.
I will. And there we have it. Peleus has ascended the throne.
Are you really leaving already? Stay, at least for the feast tonight. You've done so much. You deserve some celebration. Nothing I can say will convince you to break bread with Lord Azuka.
Well, there is that, but honestly, if we stick around too long, the soldiers are going to start giving us dirty looks. It's kind of awkward.
What do you mean?
Most Daeans still loathe Legus. Getting rid of that hatred, let's just say you have your work cut out for you. Look, we don't want to ruin everyone's party. It's been great, but we'll just quietly slip away.
That's terrible. I can't believe I never noticed, Tormod. I'm so sorry.
Don't cry. I hate it when girls cry. Take care of yourselves. It's, good that you came to help us, so, thanks. Whoa, you're thanking me? Better get a hold of yourself, Soth. You're gonna make me get all weepy. You little...
Moram, before you go, I just want to thank you. Thank you for not telling anyone about my brand.
No thanks are needed. It's rude of me to ask, but do you know anything about the circumstances of your birth?
No, I know nothing of my parents. But just before she died, the old woman who raised me told me that what the brand was and what it meant. This is proof that the blood of both Bjork and Legus coursed through me. And so, I am anathema to both. She told me to never let anyone see it, and to be always on my guard.
Wise advice.
I've avoided most of my life to conceal my brand and my powers. But there's no way to hide how very slowly I age. I just keep moving through Daean. The same holds true now. I won't be able to stay in this army long.
Even so, as long as Little Soth is by your side, I think that you can overcome any difficulty.
Yes, just as you have Tormod.
Yes.
Moram, boss, I know you don't want to go, but at this rate, we'll be standing here all night. Vika, my thanks go to you, too. Soth and I will visit you in the desert. I'll be there, but I won't be waiting. Waiting for people who never come is hard. Vika, I said I'll come, and I will. Okay, then.
Micaiah, Soth, we're going with him. What? Aren't you going to Gallia?
Yeah, we're taking him.
Come on, neither of you leave for Daean for a little while, right? Don't worry, we can handle it.
Once the battle ended, it seemed time to move on. I'm sorry to change our plans, but this is better for all of us. That's awful. I can't believe you're all leaving us at once.
Micaiah, fate brought us together, you and I, guided by the same voice. Our paths are fated to cross again someday. I'm sure of it.
I'm embarrassed. I didn't mean to cry. It's been so nice meeting you all.
Till next time, because I know we'll meet again. What was that sound?
Volug. Lady Nyla, did she send you back to guard me, Volug?
Ridiculous. As if you didn't already have that annoying bird. Ouch! Ow! 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 I take it back.
Soth, we freed our country from tyranny together, but it's not over yet. We'll have to work hard and for a long time to return Daean to its former grandeur. I know it won't be easy, but if I have you two with me, I know we can do it.
Part 1, Finn.
While Daean celebrates its rebirth, rebellion spreads across neighboring Crimea. The young Queen Alincia holds the throne, but her nation is in turmoil. She begins to doubt her ability to rule. What will become of her country? Part 2 of Countries and Kings.
A pretty fair amount of bonus experience points, 16,655 all told. Not a drop was used on any of the Dawn Brigade, which will become understood eventually. And that is Endgame Daein Arise completed. Part 2 of Countries and Kings.
Daein has been reborn. Word of King Peleus's coronation reaches neighboring Crimea within days. Crimea itself has spent the past 3 years rebuilding from the damage it suffered during the Mad King's War. News that Ashnard's son now sits on Daein's throne sends waves of unease and worry rippling across the land. Alas, this is not the only thing disturbing the people of Crimea during this time. There is an ever-widening gap emerging between Crimea's noble class and the nation's young ruler, Queen Alincia. Crimea lost its king during the Daein invasion, and Alincia is still an inexperienced ruler. What's more, her very existence was a secret from the public, and so she came unexpectedly to her succession. Many of Crimea's noble houses raised their voices in protest against her rule. Alincia's desire for a long-lasting peace has driven her to strengthen Crimea's ties with the Laguz nation of Gallia, and to renounce Crimea's claim to rule over a defeated Daein. Her political moderation is seen as a sign of weakness among her critics. Ike, the young hero who led Crimea to victory in the Mad King's War, was granted a peerage for his heroism and bravery. The elevation of a common mercenary to the nobility, however, widened the rift between the aristocracy and the queen yet further. Perhaps to avoid becoming mired in these power struggles, Ike renounced his peerage and took his leave of the court. Yet Ike's actions did little to placate the nobility. They continued to criticize the queen's every decision and lay squarely at her feet the blame for all of Crimea's woes.
Prologue on Drifting Clouds. So, you have acknowledged Peleus as the newly crowned king of Daein? Your Majesty, this is beyond the pale.
I have not forgotten our war with Daein. 3 years is not so long as that, but do not forget, if we allow hatred to rule our hearts, we become prisoners of our past. A lasting peace serves both nations.
Bravo, Your Majesty, well spoken indeed. Your words paint a picture of idealism rarely seen here at the court. However, I beg your forgiveness. It is quite apparent your grasp of politics remains childishly naive.
Abandoning rule for Daein, then reconciling with our most hated enemy. This will not do. The people will soon take their discontent to the streets.
What's more, why choose Bastion, the Count of Fair, as your envoy? His skills in court are vital to Crimea. To send away such a key figure, tell me, Your Highness, how exactly do you plan to rule without him?
The Count of Fair himself gladly volunteered as a delegate. Her Majesty's decision was only...
Lady Lucia, still your tongue. You are not Her Majesty. Do not presume to speak for her.
Yes, Lady Lucia. Please refrain from speaking if you have not been directly addressed. Your familiarity with the Queen does not grant you a seat in the Royal Assembly. Although you may have been raised as a sister to Her Majesty the Queen, kindly remember your place.
You have my apologies.
And you, General Joffrey, does your loyalty to Her Majesty stem only from your unchecked emotions? Those with a taste for gossip are talking. I wonder, have you heard what the Help is saying about you?
What?
Geoffrey.
At any rate, growing discontent has brought the royal family of Crimea to a crossroads of sorts. Your Highness, this is all on you. Indeed, Your Majesty. Whatever do you intend to do?
Melior, the Crimean capital. Unfortunately for the naysayers, I believe the stuck-up nobles have some pretty good points there. You have to be a strong ruler. And this is a kingdom.
Queen Alicia. Marcia, how are you today? And what are you doing here? Lucia told me all about those no-good Nick nobles and their chest-beating contest, so I thought you could use some cheering up. You weren't in your chambers or the garden, so I guessed you would be out here. Forgive me, I needed some time to think. I'm sorry to trouble you. Not at all. After everything you've done for me, it's the least I could do. It was nice of you to hire me as a royal knight, but hiring my sponge-brained, spine-deprived brother might qualify you for sainthood. Even so, I'm afraid I may also have caused you a great number of hardships. Huh? Oh? The grief I'm getting from the nobles? It's nothing I can't handle. If you think your country has stuffed shirt windbags for aristocracy, you should see Begnion's. When I was a Pegasus Knight there, they had a new shenanigan every week. After that, the Crimean crybabies are no big deal. No, it's my fault, and I'm sorry. I'm so new at all this. Even you are affected by my blunders. Sometimes I think, maybe I just don't have what it takes to be a queen.
You do have what it takes to be a queen, not a king. Oh, yeah. This game is so modernistic, romanticized, it's stupid. I wish it was more romanticized medieval Europe.
That's not true, Queen Alicia. Anyone can strut around in a queen hat and say she's a ruler, but you always put your people first. Look, it's not that you're doing a bad job, it's just everyone's on edge lately with Dan getting a new king and all. People are worried that Dan will start another war like the one 3 years ago, and they're taking it out on you. Just don't let those peacock-wearing nobles bug you, and remember that you don't have to go it alone. You've got friends everywhere. Thank you, Marcia. Your kind words have lifted my spirits. That's right, I'm not alone. I must be strong for the sake of our people, as the protector of our homeland. Huh? Queen Alicia, what the heck is going on over there?
Hey, how dare you harass us? Begone, you insolent fools, begone, I say. Fear not, my lady, this senile old bird will gladly trade his life for your protection.
They say nothing is as beautiful as the herons of Serenus, especially a royal princess. You'll fetch a pretty penny from some lord or another, and our pockets are a little light. What do you say, Captain? Yes, naturally. She should prove to make a fine gift. Seize them and mind the raven's talons.
This is unbelievable. Stand back, you impertinent, irrepentant dogs. Nalushi does not give in easily.
Men, silence that cawing raven. Who would pay for an old crow like that anyway? Leave him.
Stop right there.
Shh. Company, how droll.
Hey, Begnion Draco Knights, are you lost, or have you just been letting those scally flea bags do your navigating? What are you doing in Crimea's sky?
We've merely strayed a bit in our duties patrolling the border. Do you have a problem with that?
You and your flying snakes are in violation of Crimea's sovereignty. Besides, do you have any idea who you're dealing with here, reptile breath? Marcia, stop. We cannot afford to start antagonizing the Begnion army. I am the Queen of Crimea. But Your Majesty, we can't just let these wyvern monkeys run rampant. And we're not going to. As long as they don't realize I'm the Queen, we should be fine. Begnion Draco Knights, you will only be warned once. Leave this area immediately. I serve the Queen of Crimea. Trespassers on Crimean territory will be dealt with, no exceptions.
The Queen, she says. The very Queen that relied on us, the Bagneon Empire, to free her nation. Imperial Draco Knights are not frightened by soldiers so weak as Crimean Pegasus Knights. Listen up. Leave those two alone. It's the Serenus Maiden we want. Do not allow her to escape.
Looks like we'll not talk any sense into them. I suppose we have no choice. Sir Nalucci, we're here to help you.
Albeit, Her Majesty, Queen Alincia, fate has smiled upon us. I hate to be a bother, considering it has been so long, but your assistance is most appreciated.
Alright, so beginning off part 2 with a bang.
This is one of the coolest chapters in this entire game, and I kid not when I say that. Now, granted, I know I give a lot of flack to Alincia, but part of that is due to the ignorant politics that were derived behind this game, and a lot of foolish decisions made to promote certain things that should not be promoted just for the sake of promotions. It's kind of silly in my humble opinion. I'll try to refrain from getting too negative at times and just let it go, because my opinions and views should be very well readily understood by now. However, with all that being said, Alincia, though she might not be a great ruler, she is an incredible unit. She is a third tier unit, and not necessarily the first we have used. The Black Knight would have been the first we have used, or I have used, but she is the second, and she actually sticks around for a majority of the rest of this game, which is super nice. Now, hilariously, they gave her a slim sword, which means that even though she has a base strength of 19 strength, are you kidding? She's not actually all that strong. In fact, I believe her men's staff actually does more damage than the slim sword. I believe, because I believe the weight of the staff determines its might. If that's the case, hilariously, what you actually want to do is do a lot of healing with her and let enemies attack her with the men's staff, which will also give her staff rank too. So that's really, really useful in my humble opinion. Now, considering that her bases are fantastic, she has also got some very fantastic growth rates. 45% HP, 65% strength, 40% magic, 50% skill, 70% speed, 60% luck, 20% defense, bit low, and 35% resistance. Now, her defense is really low in comparison to every other growth rate she has, but she already has a base of 18. This girl is strong. She's one of the best units, especially in part 2, and the reason being is because she is a flying sword and staff wielder. This is incredible. She has got to be one of the best units in this entire game, and I'm not kidding when I say that. I'm seriously not kidding. She has got some very good redeeming qualities. Now, coming with an A rank in staves and a B rank in swords is pretty good, especially considering that she does have a preferential sword, which doesn't need replacing of any way, shape, or form once you get it. And because it's preferential, she doesn't need sword rank. The only thing that she would need sword rank is for the SS rank swords in this game, whom are arguably better in some ways, but also worse than her preferential weapon, due to the fact that her preferential weapon has a very specific quality to it that no other SS rank weapon has. A rank in staves is good. I do believe she caps out either at S. I don't think she caps out at SS, but either way, she can use basically all of the good staffs in this game that you would want her to at this point, which is fantastic. Coming with 60 capacity, you can see that this game is a lot more lenient about capacity, especially once your units get into 3rd tier, and part of the reason why is because all 3rd tier Bjork units are forced to have their specific class mastery skills. So first of all, she has Renewal, which restores 10% of total HP per turn. This is not great because she only has 36 HP, so that means she heals 3 per turn. Not great. Now, she will heal in this chapter per turn if you keep the men's staff on her. I think, 20 HP plus this, so she's being able to be healed for 23 per turn. She doesn't need really healing items, but she does come with a concoction potion that restores 40 HP when consumed. She also has a beautiful ability of Canto, allows a unit that has not moved its full movement range to move the remaining amount at the end of his turn. What's interesting is that flyers are probably the most blessed by this because they are not impeded by any forms of terrain. Now, what's cool about Alencia is that her magic, though it can't really be used for offensive reasons or means unless you use stuff like the cards in this game, like the Reaper card I just got in Part 1 Endgame, she can't use magic of any sort, but she can use Imbue. I would dare say that Alencia is top 3 or 4 best units in this game to have the skill Imbue. So Imbue is definitely a skill that I'd like to give her at some point once I have the opportunity to, because then she can heal up every turn to an exceptional degree. Now, finally, she comes with the very first, well, not very first, but one of the first class masteries. It's definitely the first in Part 2. Can inflict 3 times normal damage and paralyze enemy for 1 turn. High-level airborne units. This is interesting. So Stun is one of the few class masteries that takes less than 30 skill. It only takes 25. I think part of the reason why this balancing was made, or this decision was made, was because Canto takes up 10. So she already has 35 of her capacity just gone. But she still has 25 of her capacity left to be used, which is still useful. She can equip several good skills with that. This is actually a notably incredibly good skill for this particular chapter. You want it to proc as much as possible because when she stuns somebody, he cannot move the rest of this turn. Now she comes with 3 authority stars. I'm not sure that authority stars do anything in this game. And if they do, it's super minimum, like 3% to per star hit and avoid kind of thing. She has no bond, and there's that to be spoken of. But she does have some fantastic stats, fantastic growth rates, fantastic utility. Staves and swords are amazing. Staves are obviously some of the best utility items in the game. Swords are some of the best weapons in the game. Though many people would argue that in the Tellius series, axes are the best. That is true. Particularly when you get closer to the higher rank weapons, the swords kind of beat out the axes, and there's a reason why that is, especially for Alencia and the specific weapon that she obtains, especially for her. Now, I would love to go about and talk about the rest of the units I have on offer here, but I think this is going to be where I cut this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.